Good morning and welcome to the Angel and Tina morning show. How is everybody doing? Tina, how are you doing today?
It is Wednesday, and today is one of my favorite days when we have all the Connect Summit speakers, well, most of them, on on the show, because next week is the Connect Summit. All the Connect Summit speakers.
I found it.
She found it. She's like, where is the video so I can share it?
Yep.
Is our Connect Virtual Summit. We've been doing these every single month now. We're into year 2 of our Connect Virtual Summit, and they are a free live event. We are live and interactive every single month, helping you to connect with our speakers, connect with each other, with your health, your wealth, your business, your life, all of that fun stuff. And 2 of our fabulous speakers on the summit next week are here in the Angel and Tina Morning Show virtual studio with us today. Christine, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you guys? It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I have that same shirt.
Yes. And we both have it in blue and gray.
Oh, do you? I do. I have it in gray. I love it.
I know. I was saying I loved it. And then you both have it in 2 different colors.
It's like this real pretty blue, it's real pretty blue. And then I have it in gray, but it does make, we were talking in the green room, it does make my top half look very bodacious.
Does it?
Not that they already aren't, but
I could use a little lift.
I think it's because of the little zipper right here.
Yeah, the zipper.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right here.
And it's all over here.
Where's the zipper?
Carey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's early for me.
That's right. You're in Arizona.
It is 8.
Yep. You for getting up and being what's the university, right? You're in LA, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I've already had meetings. I'm well into my day.
Hey, what are you talking about?
I know Christine's an early starter, not just an early riser. Like there's one thing about getting up in the morning early and being awake, but Christine is an early starter. You said you've already had meetings. So what time did your day start?
Today was actually a late day for me, to be honest. My first meeting wasn't until 6:30, but I usually have my first meetings around 5:30.
a.m.
Yeah, because I do a lot of stuff on the East Coast, and and I have a partner on the East Coast, and so I just I'd rather end my day earlier. Kind of, because I do a lot of volunteer work. And so my evenings are consumed with volunteer activities. I sit on 2 boards. I'm very active in the City Club of Los Angeles. And those meetings all start at 6 o'clock. And what's that?
I was part of the City Club over here, the Country Club over here in Atlanta.
Yeah. And so those meetings all start at 6. So my day doesn't end until between 7 and 8 o'clock at night. So I'd rather start early and take a break later in the afternoon and do it that way.
So when do you officially stop working and go into volunteer mode?
Usually around 6.
Okay, wait.
12-hour day.
From 6 to 6 is the early day for you?
Well, no, yeah, I do.
She's like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, right? We all work these 12 hours.
I'm doing what I'm loving doing, so it doesn't feel like work. So.
I said that we call it the entrepreneurial half days, right? I usually say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but in Christine's case, right, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which I think is fairly typical. Carey, about you? What time does your day typically start?
Well, if I'm up at that hour, I am not talking to anybody. So, I get up. I get up early, but I spend my first hour of the day is in complete quiet time to get my head in the right space, do some journaling, get ready for the day. So, but I'm usually not, my first gig of the day is usually not until about 9 a.m. So, but I work straight through the day until I drop.
Is that 10 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours?
Depends on the day. If I have evening stuff, normally what I'm doing in the evening is doing some sort of networking. Mm-hmm. Whether it's virtual or I actually have a live thing to go to tonight, which so funny with live thing, in-person thing, right? Like
Right, right.
3-dimensional people.
And what time is that? What time is it going to start? What time will it end?
I think it starts at 4:30 or
Okay.
5. So
All right. So probably like 6:30, right? So that's a long day.
yeah.
So when I moved to Florida, all of my appointments, like in my calendar, were still mountain time. And so when I got here, I just kind of kept that mountain time schedule. So my work day doesn't officially start until 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then it goes until whenever, right? Like 8 o'clock at night. Because I'm on mountain time.
Up at 5, but I don't like, I'm up at 5. Don't, like Carey, don't talk to me until I've had at least 2 cups of coffee. I do all my morning routine, all that kind of stuff. So my day doesn't officially start until 10 o'clock too.
Well, I want to be clear. When I have my first meeting at 5:30, I've had an hour and a half of quiet time by then, because I am up between 3:30 and 4 usually.
Yeah, I knew Christine was a
Yeah.
very early riser.
Yeah, no,
I
look, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. So, yeah, I just grew up that way, and I'm up at between 3:30 and 4 most days.
You feeding the chickens at 6 o'clock?
I will when I buy my farm. I will be having chickens and a goat named Jane.
And a goat named Jane.
Like, that's funny.
I love that. Well, we were also chit-chatting that we've got a grandbaby turning 1 next week.
My crazy man. He's seriously just, I told my daughter, they were here for about a week. And it was a tough week. They came all together to Arizona for Easter weekend. And my son-in-law, the first day they were here, started throwing up. He had a 24-hour flu bug. And then my grandson he's not walking yet. He's super close, but he is wicked fast on the crawling thing, like a tornado. And everything that he wants to move towards is everything that he should not have. So when he's awake, he's just, we can't get in.
You have to have somebody on constant watch.
Yep. Constant. Yeah. And then he ended up getting a double ear infection. So he wasn't sleeping well while he was here. So my daughter and my son-in-law left after the weekend, and she stayed here for the week with him. It's kind of crazy. She and I flew out, both of us, on that Wednesday to go to 2 different cities to speak, and then come back the next night. And we left him here with her best friend.
Oh, how did he do?
How
did you all do?
Yeah. By the time we left that Saturday or whatever, we just dropped. I mean, that Sunday, literally all I could do was lay at the pool. I was seriously just fried. And I told my daughter, I said, I don't remember you and your brother being like this. Like, she said, no, I
don't remember it because you had all that energy.
Maybe, but he wears us all out. It's not just me.
At this age. Like, I'm just like, what? You have a 2-year-old? There's no way. I'm glad I had my kids when I was young, when I had all the energy in the world.
Yeah.
Able to do whatever it takes. Like, now I'm like, oh, I would have been like, just get it yourself.
Get yourself. Okay, so, celebrating our kids' birthdays or our grandchildren's birthdays or nieces and nephews' birthdays. What about you ladies? How are you guys? Do you have celebrating your birthdays? Is that a thing? Does it go away? Are you celebrating your birthdays this year?
Well,
they're like,
yeah. So my grandson's birthday is May 1st and mine is the 6th. So, it's a big celebration happening in Oklahoma on the day of his birthday. My family's coming in from Colorado, which is shocking. And, it's all just, that whole weekend is all about him. And my daughter said to me the other day, so what do you want to do for your birthday? I said, I haven't even thought about it. I mean, really, it's just kind of, and it's also Mother's Day the following weekend. So it becomes like this whole thing.
A combination.
Yeah.
See, that's how my birthday is. My birthday falls on Christmas, like during Christmas time. When I was younger, like, I think I remember one birthday party that I had actual people, like my friends at. All the other ones were just like, the immediate family. Because my birthday's 5 days after Christmas. Nobody was ever home. Everybody was always on Christmas, Christmas break. It wasn't during the school year, so nobody cared.
Yeah.
And then now I celebrate, but I do it myself, celebrate it like all month long in December. But I have never had like a big blowout birthday party. Like nobody's ever thrown me like a surprise party or like a birthday party. Like my 40th, I got divorced when I was 40. Like my 40th, no. Now I'm 46. So maybe when I'm 50, Angel, there you go. You can welcome me into the 50 club.
Welcome you into the 50s club. I keep calling Tina. I'm like, we're in our 50s, right? And she's like,
wait,
hey,
no, you're not.
don't put me in that box yet. Don't put me there yet. And I'm like, oh, come on. We have cookies.
I would love to be looking forward to 50. Yeah. Next year I turn 60.
Is it next year? Ooh, you're looking fabulous, darling.
You don't even
Wow.
look like you're 60. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Well, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, ladies.
The land of the beautiful people.
I know. One of the
The
beautiful
land of you can fix anything.
You are dynamite. Okay, so Carey, what's your secret? What's your secret to not just looking youthful, but being like, I mean, you all know, right? You know some people that are like old, right? That has nothing to do with their age. Like they're just.
Let me tell you, my mom, and I'm not going to tell you how old my mom is because somebody might get mad, but she's a couple years older than Carey, like 3 years older than Carey, I think. She acts like she's 80.
This is what I'm saying. Like there are just.
She doesn't. First of all, she's a beautiful person. But she doesn't look like Carey. Like she goes to bed like at 6 o'clock, and she's always in pain, and just she acts like she's 80 years old. Like I would tell her, hey, let's go to Charlotte. She's like, oh, no, we can't go all the way to Charlotte. It's too far. And it's like 20 minutes away. And I'm like, what? Why? And she goes, because it's just the traffic and this and that. I'm like, what? But like Carey's just flying all over the world.
Carey's flying all over the place and traveling. And I know Christine does some really fun stuff too, which hopefully she'll share what she did recently. But Carey, what do you do to stay youthful?
Well, I've used a really good skincare line, for the past 27 years of my life, because that was my first entrepreneurial gig. So I bleed Arbonne. I mean, head to toe, inside out, everything you see on me and everything I put in me from a nutrition standpoint is super healthy. So I've done that forever. Drink a lot of water. I love to walk and I love what I do. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that you really have to create the life you love. And if you don't love it, it becomes a whole different mindset.
And if you stop doing things, like I think that's what my mom did. Like she stopped doing anything. And so when you stop doing things, then you're like less motivated. You don't want to move. You don't want to leave. You don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But you just got to stay motivated and have that passion.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's an attitude of life thing. It's a choice, and I've been taught by the best of how you change your mindset and capture your thoughts first thing in the day and put yourself in the right energy. No matter what you're facing for the day, you can change how you feel and you can change how you think.
Oh, mic drop, right? Yeah. Can you repeat that, Carey? Like no matter, because I have to write that down because that was awesome.
I have to write that down.
You can change how you choose to feel. I've been through a lot of adversity in my life, as you guys know. And so it's a choice. I've quoted David Meltzer many, many times. He was one of my mentors for a little while. He's one of the most unbelievably wise men on the planet. If you don't know him, start following David Meltzer. And he said to me one day something so prophetic. And like I said, I've repeated it. He said, Carey, the first thought of the day is the only thought of the day. Every other thought after that is a reaction to the first thought. So that means that what we have to do first thing is capture whatever that thought is. And if it's a negative thought, which for most people it is, right? They wake up and start thinking about all the bad stuff, right? We got to stop that. We got to capture that and change the thought, because the thought equates then to how you feel. And then how you feel equates to how your actions go for the day. So it's a choice and it's a practice. a lifelong practice.
And I know you are dedicated. I mean,
Yeah.
you are absolutely dedicated to that practice. Nothing wavers. Like, you don't let anything alter that morning routine for you.
Right. Well, it's again my vision of what I want my life to look like and how I want to be showing up for my daughter and now her grandbabies. And that's the choice, is how am I showing up for them?
Hey, wait, you said grandbabies. Is there an announcement?
Well, no, not now, but more to come.
Yeah.
More.
I don't know if you know Laurel, if you follow Laurel, like, this woman was meant to be a mommy. Like,
Yeah.
she is so good at it. She just absolutely shines. Like, she's just, yeah, she should have 20 kids. Well, I mean, maybe not, but more than one.
That's kind of funny. When she was a baby, when she was a little girl, she begged me to have more children, begged me. And, would have loved nothing more to have a whole household.
He wanted a baby.
Yeah. But the thing about Laurel though is she and her husband are born parents, right? But they're also super structured. So it's been interesting to see how they've maneuvered a baby into their world and how they're managing that. But you know what? That is a choice as well. I see a lot of moms that just kind of throw up their hands and go, I have no control over this. And that's not true. Right. So yeah, they're amazing. They're just going to be great. So no second grade baby yet that I know of, but it won't be long.
It won't be long. I love that. Now, Christine, I know you do. I mean, you have this incredibly youthful energy about you as well. And you've already mentioned, like, you love what you do. You're energized. You get up in the morning, but you do some really fun stuff to kind of keep the youthfulness in your life.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm closer to 60 than 50, that's for sure. And I think one of the things, I surround myself with people who are younger than I am. So actually it's not because of, I don't know why, but we actually don't have a lot of friends who are our age. Most of the people that we hang out with are much younger than we are. I love that because it keeps they think differently. A lot of our friends are the same age as our daughters because I was a very young mom. I got pregnant when I was 19 and had my oldest when I was 20. And so, and then all three by the time I was 22. So that made a difference in terms of kind of how we related and how we kind of approached life. My husband's younger than I am, so he's even younger still.
Maybe that's the key, is to find a younger man. Instead of me finding an older man, I think I need to find a younger guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the younger men thing. So, but I do things like I just came back from camping, and not just camping, like we were tent camping. My youngest daughter and I were tent camping in the mountains, building fire, chopping wood, going into the woods, hauling out dead trees and chopping them up, and and I love that. I love that kind of stuff. I love that physical labor.
4-inch heels on?
What's that?
No, she did not have her 4-inch heels on, Tina.
No.
4-inch heels everywhere she goes.
And then I love to, for me, like, I just went through an exercise of defining what the value, kind of figuring out the values of my business and picking the number one value for my business. And that value defines what keeps me young, and that is curiosity. The number one thing in my business is everybody has to be curious. You have to be curious about yourself, other people, and the situations that you're in. And that, for me, is what drives youthfulness, is curiosity. Because when we're children, we're curious about everything. We put it in our mouth, we put it in our ears, we put it up our noses, we put it wherever. We play with it, we break it, we do whatever. And then we quit doing that. And, as a negotiator, that my whole world is about curiosity. It's all about getting curious about what can we do to make this situation better? How can we make this deal even better, right? And for me, that is what drives youthfulness, is curiosity. So that, and then I do fun things, like I ride motorcycles and do stuff like
it's interesting. You said, most of your friends are younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a couple of years ago, introducing, we were in Florida for a visit, and we went to Disney, and some of our friends actually surprised us at Disney, and my kids were with us. And after they left, my kids are like, they are closer to our age than they are to your age. And so she was like flabbergasted that I would have like, I
with
call
you.
them my friends. Like, these are my friends that I hang out with. She's like, I know you always talk about them, but I had no idea how old they were. And they were,
Oh, you don't go, well, how old are you? Oh, you're too young for me, us to hang out. Like, you just kind of hang out. And if you guys get along, you guys get along.
my parents, my mom, because she was young, when she had babies, kind of like you, Christine, they seem to always hang out with people who are older than them because of like at church, you kind of put them in life groups, and depending on the season of life that you're in. And so if you've got school age kids, or if you've got teenagers, and they always seem to be around and hang out with people who had kids the same age. And so therefore they were hanging out with people who are older, and they always seem to have like much older, older friends. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious, Tina, what your thoughts on this. When our kids were in middle school, I mean, we were 15 years younger than any other parent in our kids' classes. And so we made a conscious decision not to hang out with our kids' friends' parents. And part of that was because I'd had bad experiences when I was a kid of my parents being really close friends with parents of my friends, and then my friendship broke up, and that broke up my parents' friendship. It was the drama thing, and I was like, I just don't want to deal with that garbage. I'll figure out my friends outside of my kids, and had my own world of friends that way. And so it just wasn't something we just never did. And if we had, then our friends would have all been significantly older. But the reality for us was those really young parents, and I'm sure Tina, you experienced this too. I mean, it's really hard, unfortunately. I actually love being a young parent. I heard, I think it was Rachel Hollis, I can't remember, somebody who said how grateful she was that her daughter wasn't a young parent. And I actually don't feel that way. I feel exactly the opposite. I wish that we were in a place in our society where we celebrated young parenthood, when women's bodies were more geared to having children, where we could still have a career, where we could still be all the things that we were meant to be, but not have this, either have to delay it so late that we create all these other medical issues, or that we don't have support when we have them young. And it drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely crazy. So have kids whenever the hell you want to have kids.
I mean, I was a young mom. I had my first one when I was 19. When I was 19. He's 27 now. But it's funny that you say that, because I have 4 best friends. They're all in different states. Every one of them are 50 years old. Like, they all turned 50 all in the same year. And I'm always the youngest in the group. Everybody always says, "Oh, how old are you, Tina?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm 4, however age I was at the time." But I was always younger. But it was always like 5 to 10 years younger. It wasn't like a 20-year difference. But I have friends from, like, I have 25-year-olds who are friends of mine, and I have 60-year-olds who are friends of mine. And I think, Christine, what you were saying, it is the season of life. And I had those kids. And so I was friends with other people who had kids my age, or my kids' age. And then they would always go, "Well, how old are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm 27." Or they're like, "Oh, what? I'm 35. I can't believe you're so young," or whatever. But I don't feel like I'm 46 either. Like, when I went down to celebrate my son's 27th birthday, I was like, "Wait, how are you 27?" Because I'm 27.
I haven't aged a day, right? I tell that to the kids. I'm like, "You're getting older, but I haven't aged a day." Yesterday, I did a Facebook Live video, and when I went back and looked at it this morning, I was like, "Oh, it really wasn't camera ready. Like, what was I thinking? Like, I really should have done a little bit more." But then this morning, somebody commented, and she's like, "Angel, you look 10 years younger." I'm like, "Oh, well, okay then."
keep that video up.
being all critical, and she's like, hey, you just look really young. I'm like, okay, oh, I'll take that. Right, I'll take
I feel
that.
like I've aged a lot this last year I feel like I can see it in my face. I can see it, and it's like,
I see it, Christine.
I can. I mean, we all can see things in ourselves. It's like, wait, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And it's, yeah.
Oh,
it's
I was on a video where I was I was outside. And so it was all natural lighting. And the gal I was on the call with, she's like, Angel, do you have gray hair? And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, and you can't tell in this lighting, but this is like there's all this gray in here. And yeah, it is. It's been a rough.
Light highlights.
It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year. And then
all the kids are doing it. All the kids are doing, platinum gray highlights.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
One of our audience members says, Christine, we have all aged in 2020.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, let's get to know, like, we're super excited because we're celebrating and we're in, pre-week of the Connect Virtual Summit. It happens the last Wednesday of every month. You can put it in your calendar, mark it down now. And each month,
Christine has her Connect Summit mug. She's drinking out of it right now.
I saw that. Each month we focus on a different series. And so we bring in a team of experts who focus on that series. So we had our financial series, financial and our systems summit, which was awesome for just getting yourself that great foundation. Last month we had our media and speaker series. This month we're talking about relationships, building connections with humans, right? The people side of life. And we have three of our speakers here today, Tina, Christine, and Carey, who all are our featured speakers. So let's get to know you guys just a little bit more officially. Christine, give us a little bit of background about you, your expertise, and kind of how you serve the world.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm a business negotiation strategist and the CEO of Venn Negotiation. I kind of started my career doing international mergers and acquisitions in Southeast Asia and Eastern and Western Europe. And after having, kids really young, I was on welfare for almost a decade, was homeless at one point. I earned my MBA from Harvard University and started working with Fortune 500 companies all over the globe in helping them develop and build procurement organizations, teaching them how to buy, how to develop procurement processes, how to negotiate differently, how to evaluate suppliers, et cetera. Switch from that to working in sales, helping companies sell to those same procurement departments. And in the course of that, I realized that I didn't really like how I was seeing small and mid-sized companies being treated by big major enterprise corporations. And one of the biggest disadvantages that smaller organizations have is in negotiation. They just don't have access to the training. They don't have the same level of knowledge or skill set. Everyone in an enterprise is a specialist and everyone in a smaller company is more of a generalist. And so that puts you at a disadvantage in negotiation. So I launched Venn Negotiation out of a passion for helping small and mid-sized companies level the playing field and ask for more of what they want and providing them the tools and resources to negotiate for that. And we just launched our podcast in the Venn Zone and just dropped, I think, our 29th episode yesterday. And so super excited about that. And it's just a very eclectic way for people to kind of learn more about negotiation and launching our Venn Masters program, and book is still coming out. So, yeah, just a lot going on. So
you are a superstar, right? I met Christine just a little over a year ago, and like A+ student at everything that she does, everything that she pours herself into. She doesn't do anything halfway. And the fact that she's teaching small business owners and entrepreneurs the skill set for negotiation, which was interesting. You don't hear anybody speaking about negotiation on stages. Like, you don't see that as a, kind of a
topic.
Right? Yeah. It's leadership, it's marketing, right? It's this. And then when Christine came on the scene and how applicable it was in every aspect of our lives, I mean, she has just exploded. And of course, some of the opportunities and the stages she's been speaking on have been quite incredible. So we are so fortunate to have Christine as one of our speakers next week on the summit. You want to give us just a little sample, a little sneak peek of some of the things you'll be talking about next week, Christine?
So we're really going to be talking about kind of the 3 things that you have to have in place. These are I rarely do shoulds, but these are that you must have these in place in order to be a successful negotiator and to get more of what you want. And we're going to talk about the importance of gaining clarity and what clarity means, and Carey's roles and what she does in visioning plays into that very much so. So we're going to talk about getting clear, but it's not just about you, it's about your counterpart. We're going to talk about the importance of understanding how to ask, how we ask for things matters. And then I'm going to give some really important tips on how to manage the process of negotiation, because negotiation is a conversation about a relationship. And you cannot win a relationship, but you can get more value out of it. So stop trying to win your negotiations and start getting more value out of your negotiations. And so we're going to talk about a bunch of those kind of things.
I am so excited. I'm so excited to have you. And I know you're like a fan favorite for our audience. They eat it up because they're like, nobody teaches this. And I know you had even a celebrity, right? You had a celebrity interview where she was like, oh my gosh, like nobody talks about this. And here comes Christine. And so she is definitely a do not miss speaker, a do not miss presentation. Her podcast, absolutely, you can binge, you can binge 29 episodes of it now, which is totally awesome. All right, well, let's switch over a little bit to Miss Carey Conley, right? She's one of my longest friends.
She's one of the longest friends.
Long time.
We've been friends for a very long time, and one of my favorite people, and been through so much, but is so rock solid in her faith and having a vision, and her message she has never wavered. Doesn't matter what is going on in her life. And you all know, like, life happens, and sometimes it comes at you in waves that are just absolutely not fair and totally unexplainable. But this woman is just rock solid. And when it comes to having a vision, nobody paints the picture better than Miss Carey Conley. And we are so honored to have her on our stage next week. Carey, you want to give a little bit of background and tell us, how you're impacting the world?
Yes. So when I was in my daughter's age, she's 27, I was encouraged by my first mentor to sit down and really write out in detail what I wanted my life to look like. Because at that point, it's the late 80s, you all, and what you did in the 80s is you got a degree, you got a job, and you worked your way up the ladder, and that's just how it went. And I didn't fit that mold very well. Very hardworking, very self-disciplined, like all of you, but just wanted to do it on my own terms. And so I sat in a very quiet space, wrote out everything that I wanted my life to look like. And because of that, I now know that what happened that day is I started seeing what God had in store for my life and what I really wanted it to look like. And so it started to unfold. And when I started having my kiddos, I stepped into being an entrepreneur in the world of network marketing, which I mentioned a minute ago. And that's what I did while I raised my kids. I went up the ranks of the company and earned the trips in the car and the whole thing, all the stuff that we wanted at that point. But the one thing I knew that I had to do with all of the leaders that I brought into my team was I had to teach them how to write their vision on paper. Because I knew that if they didn't have a really, really, really big why, they were going to quit in about a week. Because like any other entrepreneurial path, it's tough. It's really tough. Especially at that point in the world of network marketing. You jumped into this company and you ran to your family going, guess what I'm going to do? And they all went, no, you're not. You're going to do what? So, rejection in the first 24 hours, and they're out the door, unless I got them anchored in something that they wanted so big and so bad, they were willing to push through it like I did. So 8 years ago or so is when I decided that I wanted to start creating curriculum around that and start teaching it outside of the company. So I started doing little workshops, and that turned into speaking, and wrote my first book, Vision is Victory, in 2015. And then just started coaching. People wanted me to coach them, mostly female entrepreneurs, on, okay, how do I take this vision into a game plan that I can stick to? So that's what I've been doing up until now. But 2 years ago, my daughter and I launched our book, Keep Looking Up, on our story of losing my husband and my son to suicide 3 years apart. And so now we speak together, and we launched a program in January called it Vision is Victory Academy. It's Viva, for young adults. And that's our passion project right now, is really making that a big, big deal, getting a lot of eyes on that. So we're
That's been a
really
dream
passionate.
for you for years to launch the Viv Academy. I know.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Carey. All right. So you want to give us a little sample or tease of what you
Sure.
might be covering next week on the Connect Virtual Summit?
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about when I do talk about vision, I talk about all the things that having a strong vision fixes.
Mhm.
And one of those things is relationships, putting boundaries around the people that you spend your time with. It's probably when I talk, the biggest thing that people remember the most is how to, and I won't do the whole thing now to spoil it, but I'll talk a lot about the front row and being very, very careful about who you allow into the front row of your life. And that starts with you. It starts with you having your own core values figured out, your own vision in place, so that you're making the right decisions with who you're hanging out with, because it's everything.
Yeah.
So Carey, that is, and I know a lot of people talk about that front row. Can you, I don't know, give like a little example, or like what does that really mean on who's in your front row? And
So, I think of a theater, movie theater, and there's rows, right? In that very front row, let's say there's 5 or 10 seats in that front row. The only people who should be in that front row are what I call the 9s and 10s. These are the people that you can't wait to be around them. They are probably successful at what they do already. They are super positive. They believe in you. They believe in your vision. And no matter how you are feeling, they will always remind you how great you are. And they'll help you get there. Unfortunately, what most people, and you only can have so many people in that front row because there's only so much time and space in your life. So we have to be super careful not to allow the 1s and 2s in that front row, the people who, suck the life right out of you, right? So we have to kind of.
Can I pause you just for a second?
Yes.
As she was talking, like, could you guys picture, like, who are your 9s and 10s? Right? Totally. You're like, this is who that is for me. And you know who it is. But how often do we kind of put those 9s and 10s, because we know, like, we almost like kind of, take them for granted. Like, they'll be there, right? And, I'll get to you later. And we do make room for, what did you call them? 1s and 2s? Or 1s and 2s?
People that, just not only do they not lift you up, but they literally, you could be feeling like a 9, and in about 5 minutes, they can stop you.
Okay. And don't we all instantly know who those people are, right? We all instantly know who that is in our world. And Carey, I think this is what makes this so profound, is like, it's not rocket science, right? Like,
but
it's not. You feel like crap. And
he teaches you that even if they're in the front row, you can say, okay, you got to go to the next row. You got to move back.
Yeah. There are ways to do that. And unfortunately, it's an easy concept, but it's harder said, it's harder to do, because unfortunately, more times than not, those people who are not the 9s and 10s that are still in your life can be related to you, can be married to you, can be a friend from 2nd grade, people you work with.
Yeah, they're in your world, right? They are infused in your world. So it's not so simple to just say, I won't, take their call, right? Or schedule a thing. Like, they're in your life. And this is where I think what Christine talks about, right? About building these relationships and having these conversations where it's, what is your phrase about there's no winning, or
negotiation is a conversation about a relationship, and you cannot win a relationship, right? But you can get more value out of it. And that's really what Carey's talking about, right? When you I love the analogy of who's in your front row, and how you kind of play musical chairs with people, and the things that you do to create greater relationships and to improve the value of every relationship you have. Because my experience is that a bad deal for me is a bad deal for you. You just may not know it yet. Right. So somebody is a 1 or a 2 in my worlds. I'm probably a 1 or 2 in their world too.
Yeah.
They just don't realize it yet.
Ooh.
And so in a way, so in order to maximize the value of that relationship, I need to find the courage to be able to express what I'm feeling about the relationship and why it's a 1 or a 2 relationship, create an opportunity to fix it or negotiate an exit. Because at the end of the day, an exit is still a relationship, right? When we dissolve a relationship, there's still a relationship because you have an emotional history, an emotional connection to the history of that relationship.
Right.
I thought it was interesting. You like if they're a 1 or a 2 for you, you're probably a 1 or a 2 for them also. And here you think you're like hanging on to something that is like all elevated, and it probably isn't for either of you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. It's so good, Christine.
This is right. I think this is one of those things when we talk, for next week, this is what this whole conversation is going to be the whole day. There are people in our lives, and how do we nurture like those relationships that are going to move us forward, that are going to elevate us, make us feel better. We've got actually a great lineup of speakers throughout the event. And so often when we're building our business, we want to have that to-do list. Like, okay, check this off, do this thing, right? Have my checklist. But really where we're going to see the most success is when we pour into people. Right? Who did we impact? Not what did we do, but who did we impact? And so I think it's going to be probably one of our most powerful events of the year, because I think it's relationships. It's who we connect with. At the end of the day, right? We don't ever sit there and say, I wish I would have got more things done on my to-do list. Right? I wish I would have connected with this person. I would have let this person know how I felt. And so I think, this is probably going to be one of our most impactful. You can sign up by going to connectvirtualsummit.com, connectvirtualsummit.com. Tickets are free. It's a free event. It's from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So it's not the entire day, right? It's a portion of your day. We have a couple of expert panels also on our other series. So we'll have our speaker and media panel. We'll also have our podcasting and social media panelists there as well, publishing. Yeah, it is a great day. Lots of fun prizes, lots of great interaction and connection. But truly, I think this is going to be one of our most impactful. Christine, I know you just dropped your podcast in the Venn Zone, 29 episodes. What are you most excited about coming up this year?
I'm really excited about launching our Venn Masters program. I'm really I've just been so intentional about having it not be an academic exercise, really bringing it down to brass tacks, using really interesting ways of teaching people about negotiation. And I'm like really excited to impact people and to give them different tools and different ways of thinking about negotiation that they have not thought of at all. And it's going to be unlike anything that anyone's ever seen in a negotiations class. I mean, I use Sesame Street as an example, right? It's just totally different. And I'm super excited about that. And my book will be coming out this year. My first book, Why Not Ask a Conversation About Getting More. And then on the podcast, I have some amazing guests lined up, including the Senior Vice President of Franklin Covey, who I'm recording next week. And so I'm just super excited. I'm super blessed, just excited to make an impact on more people. Just can't wait.
How do we get connected with all of this stuff?
So the easiest thing, so you can text Venn to 26786. But you can check out the podcast at venn.zone, VENN.zone. And you can sign up for a free gift. If you go check it out, you can see all the blogs there. There's links to the shows as well as our YouTube channel. That's really the easiest way to get it. So
What a cool URL,
thank you.
ven.zone.
Yep. I thank my husband for that.
Yeah, and it is. Oh, look at this.
Oh,
Good
she's on it already.
stuff. That
And
looks
there,
awesome.
you can take this quiz that tells you what kind of negotiator you are, right?
Yep, absolutely. So that's you can, yeah, when you go to ven.zone, it's embedded in my website, and you can play around on there, and there's a quiz that you can take to learn your default negotiation style. But if you text VEN to 26786, you'll get a link to that, and also get our 7 keys to successful negotiation. So here's a lot.
Good. Look at all this. This is a great looking site. Look at your books coming up, your free gift.
Yeah, we're still working on it. So, and I thank my daughter for that, because Lyra McKay has been helping me to rebuild that. And for Hannah Cannon and Melanie McSally we've been all working to get my website to a higher standard.
Obviously it is, it takes a team, right? It takes a village to pull something like this off. And
yeah,
you've
absolutely.
done it beautifully, Christine. Carey, how about you? What are you excited about? What exciting projects do you have coming up?
Really, the biggest thing that Laurel and I want to do is be speaking more together. So we've really been kind of going in that direction, instead of me being the speaker and her sometimes being with me. We want to be speaking together more on some bigger platforms. So right now we are actually interviewing people that do that really find those right stages, the right audiences to be in front of, so that we can talk more about our story and spread more hope about vision and purpose and why you matter. And we are going to be doing a 6-week Vision Masters boot camp in September that we're going to co-facilitate together. So we're going to be starting to advertise that. And, I might just bring back my big event next January that I used to do, that Angel Tessie used to MC for me. So ready for that. I was ready to do it this January. And of course, everybody said, not yet. But
not yet. Oh yeah. My gosh. Oh, Carey, this was, so, lots of people put events together, right? Mm-hmm. But Carey Conley is the bomb diggity when it comes to putting.
Well, I had help, Angel Tessie, right? You remember the first one I wanted to do, I talked to you about it and said, and it was like, what, November? And I said, hey, I think I want to do a one-day event in January, a really big event with like six speakers on different topics and the whole thing. And you looked at me and went, that's 2 months away. I said, I know, but we can do this. And we did it, right?
Did it. You are, but she puts all the, like, the fun, she brings the top speakers together. She just brings all the elements. It is, and people talk about it forever, right? Talk about it forever. And then when they stopped, we were all very sad. So the fact that you're thinking about bringing them back, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
How do we connect with you?
Best thing, of course, is go to my website. It's just careyconley.com. We are creating, again, some other platforms for Laurel and I to be seen together. So be watching for that. And of course, all over Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to follow my daughter on Instagram, she's amazing. She's Laurel A. Wilson on Instagram. She started doing reels recently and they're hysterical. So you want to be watching for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You do. I love how it's kind of come full circle, right? Because she used to watch mommy be an entrepreneur and kind of do her little thing. And then, when she was a little girl, and now you guys are doing it. You're doing something and building something together. What a legacy.
Yes. Yes. It is definitely a legacy to watch her go and speak and just crush it. Right. She's a natural, and people think that's because of me, but they also don't realize that her dad did a lot of presentations in front of groups of people as well. So she came by that by sheer watching by example and being who she is. She's just very magnetic. Even I can say that even if she wasn't my daughter, she just has that thing that people just want to gravitate towards her. So she's got it going on. It's pretty awesome.
She does. She does. She's the whole package. She's the whole package. Well, ladies, you have both been so dynamite. I'm so excited for our Connect Virtual Summit next week. I think it's just going to be, yeah, I think it's going to change lives. You
Yeah.
two are, like, I know it. You two are changing lives. The impact that you leave out, that you make out in the world, the ripple effect that you guys have is, we'll never know, right? We'll never know the true impact. But every time you two, both of you, go out and share your stories, the background, like things that you've negotiated, like Christine, some of your stories, and people tell them, they will repeat them for years to come, and they're like, do you remember when Christine shared this story? And because of that, inspired us and encouraged us to learn these skills and realize how valuable these skills are. And I cannot wait, absolutely cannot wait for your books to come out. We just unpacked all of our books here. I had I got rid of so many books when we moved, just because the sheer capacity of them was it just was overwhelming. So we got rid of so many, but I did unpack the ones we did leave, and I can't wait for yours to grace those stages or grace my shelves, Christine, or my nightstand really first. But so this will be fun. And Carey, you're one of my just most dear people on the planet, and love what you and Laurel
Adore you. You know that.
Well, it's next week, guys. It's Connect Virtual Summit. If you have not registered or signed up, go do that today. Let them know how valuable. Let these speakers know they are showing up to serve you, to connect with you, to deliver their most juiciest good content, and it doesn't cost you anything. And bring a friend to the Connect Virtual Summit. You will not regret it. And this is definitely, like I said, a do not miss event. I'm Angel Tussey. I am your media exposure specialist, co-host of the Angel and Tina Morning Show. Super honored to be with you this morning. Truly grateful for those who tune in, who listen, who watch, who've been a guest. You have no idea how just your presence, just being able to do this show sometimes is what gets me out of bed and going in the morning. I'm not one of those early risers. I'm not one of those that loves to hop out of bed. I will stay in bed unless I have a reason to. And most mornings, it's you guys are my reason to get out of bed. So thank you for that. If you are looking for more exposure, right, more visibility for your business, your book, or your brand, I've got a complimentary media starter kit at my website, makeyourbigimpact.com. That's makeyourbigimpact.com. Has everything you need, right? Press release ideas, connections to media contacts, copy of my book, ABCs of Exposure, and it's all complimentary. Makeyourbigimpact.com.
I am so excited about the Connect Virtual Summit next week. Definitely one of the speakers, and going to be teaching on how to master your follow-up, how to build those relationships online and offline. But I am Tina Torres, your client retention expert, otherwise known as the gratitude specialist. And if you're struggling with attracting the right clients and not knowing how to connect to them, or even if you just don't know how to convert them into clients, I have a complimentary guide that I hope you grow your audience organically online and offline. Connect and nurture those relationships authentically, and then take those relationships, turn them into paying clients. You can grab that guide if you text the word connection to 26786. That is the word connection to 26786. And I'm going to be teaching you guys how to master your follow-up, how to build those relationships, several ways that you can do that. But I have 3 major things that you can do right now to create those relationships that's going to last a lifetime. So we'll see you next week on the connectvirtualsummit.com. Make sure you grab your tickets, bring a friend, invite a couple of your girlfriends. We're going to have a party on there, and we give away some fabulous prizes. So make sure you guys go there, be there all day. But we are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show. We come to you live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We are so grateful for you guys, our audience, for being our loyal fans, for showing up every day for us. We hope we brought a bright start to your day. Have a fabulous day, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a great day.
Good day. Cheers.